And we are back. And welcome back, everybody. This is Black Friday. These opinions are not for sale today. You've got one and only Chris Gaffrey, and you got myself. Happy to be here. Glad to be back. It's been a long time, folks. It's been a long time. We're sorry about it. We really are. We've had
We're busy people. We're busy people.
It's unfortunate, but it's a good thing. We're doing. It's not like we're just not doing anything. We're being very proactive. We're just not on and able to talk to y'all all the time as much as we want to. Chris, what has happened to you in the last month or so since we want to update here of what's been going on?
What's happened to me? I mean, lots of good things in the work sphere, getting a lot of good things done, moving on up in the world. I'll say, getting a promotion, that's something I'll pat myself on the back for. It feels pretty good and excited for new opportunities. And those are some of the things that keep us busy. The work that we do, on the ground in the trenches. Christian, what you've been up to this last month?
Man, we've been working, we've been grinding, just finishing out a tough semester. Not everybody's the most enthused on campus, but we're still making it happen. I've been blessed as well to have gotten a promotion, and so with that promotion comes a lot more responsibility. So we've both been handling a lot of different responsibilities right now. We're kind of prepping ourselves to get ready for the big summer and a big fall, and we're really excited to show you guys what we have coming up. So, it's kind of our excuse. I know we wanted to be back sooner. Didn't really work out that way, but we are here. And since we've been gone, a lot of stuff has been happening, and we can't go over just about everything. So we're going to dive right into some of the hottest things going on right now. One of the first things that we noticed that happened a couple weeks ago is that Elon Musk bought Twitter for reported $44 billion, which is unprecedented for, a billionaire like Elon Musk himself to buy up a company like Twitter. And many people on our side of the aisle say this is a big win for free speech and that we are so back, in quotes, as they would say. We are so back. It's a big move, and Elon's very vocal on Twitter about censorship and about, people's voices shouldn't be taken down, and everybody, should have a right to be heard. And, a lot of people are claiming to be an extreme far right for that. If that makes people far right, then I guess, Chris and I are extremely far right, and just about everybody else that works with us in our daily life is very far right as well. But, I see it as something good. I think it's positive. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a good thing if he does what he's saying he's going to do. I don't necessarily trust Elon like 100% yet. He's not extremely right-leaning. He's not really even right-leaning. He's more of like just a moderate. Like even in that graphic that he posted that made everyone on the left like shoot themselves in the face, where it's like the person was on the left and everyone on the left is just moving further from them, so they become right-leaning. He's basically saying like he's been on the left and everyone else around him is moving. So not saying he's a bad guy. I don't think he's like evil or anything like that, but I think he's a business person. I think his profit is what's driving him. His success is driving him, not free speech and not what is how he can save America or save the world. I don't think he really cares about any of that stuff. I think it's just profit. And hey, if he brings Twitter to a place that it's not like a cesspool of toxicity and just disgusting journalists who think they're important for some reason, then cool, I'll start using Twitter more. But if it's not that, and I don't think it's going to become that overnight. I mean, I don't have the highest hopes, but if he does what he says he does, then Elon, you get a thumbs up in my book on the Twitter situation. Other things he does that makes me, suspect about what he's about, but we'll see.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't familiar with what Chris was referencing to, it's Elon's little meme he put up of the Overton Window shift. For those of us that are fairly, involved in the political world, the Overton Window is kind of how over time certain sides switch a certain way, and how things that used to be a certain way in the middle become further right or left based on just the current culture and how people, move. So it's kind of like this way. There used to be the left and the right, and then somebody might be slightly left of center. As the left goes further left, it moves, the line of center, closer and closer, for the guy on the left to the middle. And eventually they go so far to the left that the guy that used to be just moderately on the left is now considered center right. And people on the right are way more welcoming, while the people on the left are very upset, angry, and unhappy, which is what we constantly see is leftists are very unhappy and self-serving people, very narcissistic, and want everybody to care about them, and that's about it. And so, yeah, that's why a lot of people feel like they don't have a home on that side of the aisle anymore, is because those people don't like you if you don't go lockstep with what they want you to.
And it's always it's always a competition on the left too. And they will take anything that anyone says, and they'll say, "Wait a minute, you're not the most oppressed. I'm the most oppressed." And they eat each other alive, which is hilarious to watch. I mean, you'll get them all fighting over each other because one of them is disabled and trans, and the other is only trans and I don't know, whatever. Their oppression Olympics that they have over there, it continues to drive them further and further to the left because they want to become as unique and as oppressed as possible. They want to fit into such a minute category. That's why you'll see all of them with their purple hair, and then they'll have 15 categories under their Twitter bio, which is just wild. I think these are the same people who are saying that people shouldn't have labels and we should all just live in harmony. Yet they need to have labels like they're a freaking advertising billboard.
Oh, it's the biggest narcissism of it all. It's just pure narcissism. They think so much of themselves that they believe that you have to think that much of themselves. And if you don't, then you're the problem. You're the bad person. And then they have right to inflict violence and do bad things to you and your family, for that matter. From what we know from the last few weeks, if you guys haven't followed the Libs of TikTok saga, the person that runs the Libs of TikTok account was doxxed by a Washington Post journalist. I want to say this in quotes for those that are just listening on the airwaves. Journalist, because she's not a journalist, she's a journalist. She just puts out crap narratives and doesn't stick to anything in the facts. Who's also almost 50 years old. She's not 36 years old like they say. She's almost 50. She's getting old. Wild. Yeah, absolute lies. And there's a meme account on, not even just kind of a meme account, it's an account on Twitter that posts videos of unhinged, liberals from all over the country and all over the world that do the most heinous and outlandish things. And there's no comment, like they literally just post the videos of what these people are doing on TikTok. And that journalist took it upon herself, Taylor Lorenzen took it upon herself to go ahead and dox, which is reveal the address of that person, where they live, and their personal information for everybody to see, because she felt threatened by them exposing what the left has been doing this whole time, which is trying to mess with your children sexually. They are trying to do bad things to your kids and ruin their innocence. And these teachers are openly admitting this on Twitter, on TikTok, and all these platforms. And while just casting a light to it, we're the bad people now. And it's become very, very clear here that there's an obvious agenda, and these people aren't even hiding it anymore. And then if you just put their words out there for everybody to see, then you're creating propaganda, et cetera, while just letting them speak for themselves. So this is the issue that we have here, folks. We've gone so far, down the hole here. These people are so narcissistic that they feel if you just put someone's words out there that they just said, and everybody finally realizes how terrible it is, then you're the bad person and you're causing problems. Not them because they want to mess with your children. It's you because you expose that they want to mess with your children. You're the problem. So
it only depends on what your political leaning is, Christian. If you are a left-leaning person, then it's okay. You're amazing and we love you. But if you're right-leaning and you expose the hypocrisy of having 45-year-olds wanting to talk to 3-year-olds about sexuality and gender all the time for some reason, and if they're not allowed to, then that's bigoted for some reason, well, then we're going to dox you, cancel you, and hope that people kill you. And imagine, though, if it was a conservative that doxed, a left-leaning page. I don't know what, Occupy Democrats. Imagine if a conservative did that. I think the FBI would be breaking down their door and be like, we've arrested the suspect and the white supremacist terrorist and things like that. It really just shows that the institutions in power, whether it's media or law enforcement or government, they don't care. It's not about they don't care about what's right. They don't care about what's moral. They care about what fits their agenda. And that's essentially what it is. And it's really unfortunate. And I feel bad. Well, I don't feel that. Well, I feel bad for the guy. I don't know if it was actually his current address. There are some people saying he moved and it's not his actual address, which I hope that's the case. I hope it wasn't his real address. But he gained, I don't know, Christian, if you know the exact amount of followers. I think he gained like 100,000 followers. Or something
Over a
like
million
that.
now. Over a million on the account.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it's a woman too. I don't even believe it's a man. I believe it's a woman that runs the account. I think so. Even then. You know, and
it's a woman.
I believe it's a woman that runs that account. Yes,
based. All right.
Yeah, very, very impressive. And yeah, I mean, this is an account, folks. If you're not familiar, Joe Rogan's talked about it numerous times on his podcast.
He says it's like his favorite account.
He is. Yeah, bringing up unhinged lunatics online that expose them for what they are. They're unhinged lunatics, and we're supposed to kowtow and cater to them. And these are the people in higher education teaching your children. Remember this, folks. So I highly recommend getting involved in your schools, going to school board meetings, and making sure you know what your kids are being taught, because there's a good chance it's not good.
Or end public schools and send your kid to a school that you pay for. That's also an option. You know, let's all just end public schools. But, you know, that's my 15-second libertarian rant.
Now, the public, we can do a whole episode on the whole school system. I'd like to get into that at some point. That'd be really good.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, definitely.
It's busted. I could be on campus all day, just start debating and arguing with kids for hours about this. But now, and switching different gears here, if you guys haven't been familiar, there's no way that you haven't been. This is probably the most hot topic right now. The biggest pressing thing going on is that there was a Supreme Court leak of a draft of a majority opinion from the Supreme Court that would potentially overturn Roe v. Wade. And it's an unprecedented breach of trust. And it was definitely done with malice. And this was definitely done to put tension on the Supreme Court justice, as well as put pressure on the midterms to make something happen. My opinion, though, is that they did it too far away from the midterms to actually make that direct impact. However, doing something like this to threaten Supreme Court justices' lives is abhorrent. It's an abomination, and it's just totally just craps on our system that we have set up. This is stuff you do in a third world country, banana republic, and this is America. We don't do those things here. And yet they're going to go ahead and do this, and I bet nobody's going to go to jail for this.
Oh,
I bet you nobody goes to jail for this.
No, not at all. Criminals don't go to jail anymore, and our next topic will cover that as well. But I mean, it's exactly what happens. It's like I just said. It's about the agenda. This goes with their agenda. They don't want. They want this. They want everyone to be angry at each other. They want everyone to hate each other. They want people to be foaming at the mouth on Twitter. Oh, they're gonna not be able to let me murder my baby. They want us to all be upset and all be mad. My thought on this is obviously terrible that they've leaked this. It's a breach of trust. It's going to be interesting to see how the court overcomes this and what new steps are taken to secure things like this and make sure they're not happening again. I would like to see punishment come for the person who leaked this. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Do I think it's going to have an effect, though? Not really. I don't. I don't know, Christian, what you think, but I really don't think that this is going to affect the midterms. I still think a red wave is coming. And I think that also the Supreme Court, I think the justices that are against for removing Roe v. Wade, I think they're still going to be for removing Roe v. Wade. In my opinion, I don't know. What do you think?
I think based off of the primaries that just happened this Tuesday in Ohio, with Republican turnout through the roof, we're poised for a very, very big and very good November. Very, very positive, something very exciting to look forward to. Just a bit of a misconception here from some people that might not know, or people that just think that this is the overturning Roe v. Wade and everything abortion's over. So the language of the draft indicates that Roe v. Wade decision is hyper-focused on abortion itself. It's very intentional about distinguishing abortion from an actual issue of privacy, because abortion deals with the critical moral question, which is ending human life. And so what this would do, if Roe v. Wade is ended, it would return this back to the states, and the states would then make the legislation and decide on what they're going to do about the whole situation with abortion in itself. And so this is what's really going to happen here. People think that it's all just over and everything's going to get banned, which I honestly, I want it right now. I want it all banned absolutely right now. And everybody that's really upset can cry more. I don't care. You don't get to kill babies. You're a bad person. I'll say it right now. It's bad. There's some people that don't really know what exactly happens with an abortion and the procedure. I'm very happy to show you if you want me to. It's very, very graphic and very obscene.
We might get banned.
It's a stain on humanity, and it's something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand about what really happens here. Now, with that being said, from living here in Miami in the blue part of Florida here down here, there's people my age and a little bit older, single women in their 30s that have no children, that probably won't have children, that are going to work a corporate 9-to-5 for the rest of their life without having a family and live a very abysmal life, are very upset that they can't kill the baby that they're not even going to have. So it's, very disappointing, but very telling to see. And I've seen into the last few days, I've taken a few screen caps here of some graphics that people have posted, and I kind of wanted to debunk it. And Chris, I want you to weigh in on these too, because there's stuff here that isn't going to fly. And I just want to expose this because these are a lot of common arguments that we hear from the pro-choicers, that what they believe is going to be what really is going to happen here if Roe v. Wade is overturned, and what's really going to happen in reality. Let's see. Is it up? No. Okay. Let me share the screen.
While you pull it up, I'm gonna just mention one thing. I'll say that, and I think something that is really interesting about this leak for Roe v. Wade is now you have people that are actually admitting, because for the longest time the argument has been it's not killing a kid. That has been their moral argument. It's not about killing a child. It is about my bodily autonomy as a woman. That is what the argument was about forever. Now there are people admitting it's killing a kid. So what?
Yes, there are people that openly admit this now.
And that is what's really interesting about this. And, we can touch back on this in a second. Let's look at these pictures and discuss this.
So let me, if I can scale this down so you can see what's being said. If I can make it smaller. Okay, cool. So there's, this graphic. It says, let's be very clear. Wealthy women will always have access to whatever doctors, medicine, procedures that they want. Ending Roe is an attack on the autonomy of the poor and working class women. And that's the biggest misconception here, is that me and Chris have not, but society has tricked middle class working women that kids are a burden and that children are, and that's what's necessary for poor people to succeed. Now, if you don't notice this, folks, that most and all Planned Parenthoods are set up in poor communities, in the ghettos, in the hoods. Same thing as liquor stores. They place them there for very strategic reasons, to put them there so that poor women, especially minority women, black women, can go ahead and kill their babies because they want black women to kill their babies. And the point here is that people think that wealthy men, their wives or mistresses and daughters will continue to have it, no matter who can pay for it. That's just a nonsensical argument. It's that only, the poor people can't have it. Poor people shouldn't want to have it. This is a bad thing. This isn't a good thing. This is bad. The wealthy people can have it. Why can't we? It's horrible.
And they continue to try and make it issues based on oppression and things like that. Like, somebody could have just tweeted out, white women are still going to get abortions, but black women can't. We need to fight for black women to be able to have abortions. Like, that same tweet would have, all of those people who retweeted and liked this tweet would retweet that tweet. And so they tried to change the focus of it from, it's like, again, it's bodily autonomy, or it's racism, it's sexism. It's killing a child. That's what it is. And I'm a parent. I can't imagine people like viewing their kid as a burden. Like, yeah, sometimes you have a kid and you're like, oh yeah, they're kind of annoying, but it's your kid. You're not going to be like, I'll chuck them in a blender. That's not what you do. It's so immoral. And once you have that argument with people, I recently had an argument, not really an argument, it was just a discussion with a friend of mine who was never really thought about it, and he's pro-choice, and he was like, yeah, people should be able to do it. And I'm like, okay, where's the line? Let's draw the line. Where do you stop? And he was like, I don't know, I feel like the heartbeat is too soon to draw the line, but I don't think you should kill kids right before they're born. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no line that you can draw in between that is a logical place to say, okay, you can kill a kid then, but not this way, and that's all it is. Once you have the conversation with people and say, like, what's the logic behind like being for abortion? There isn't one. There is no logic behind it, because it is killing a child. Now, if you are for killing children and you are like, hey, I should be able to kill a kid, well, then that's just an argument that I guess that's just different beliefs, different opinions. I think that's evil, and I think that's wrong. But that's different. Like that, there's no way we can come to a consensus if you're like, yeah, let's kill kids.
No, and the other thing too is that they don't understand. If we look at the numbers, I'm very, very certain that majority of poor people get more abortions than rich people do. Anyways, as it is, so it's not like, oh, only the rich people are gonna. That stuff has always been made accessible for poor people on purpose. This is a bad thing. People don't understand this. They're targeting you on purpose, folks. They don't want you to have kids. They don't want your population to. The black population has stagnated the last 3 decades, and people don't understand why. Why? 27 million babies gone. You think that our population number might be a little bit higher if that wasn't the case? People say, why can't we get ahead? You can't get ahead when you kill off generations of kids. There's no way to get ahead. That's impossible. And yet people here saying, oh, they want to do this, they want to do that. And they convince you they convince people that slavery is freedom. They've convinced women that working a 9-to-5 for the rest of their life and not having a family is freedom, and that's what they should strive for every single day. While having a family is an abomination. It's just backwards, and it's unnecessary, and it's just old, and it's old time. And that's one of the saddest things I've seen, because I see it every single day out here living in the big city. There's so many people that tell me, I don't want to have kids, I don't want to have a family, I might not be able to travel. Such narcissism and such living for themselves without seeing a bigger picture and something greater than themselves is why our society is failing. It's why we're not going to go anywhere if we don't turn this around very, very soon. And it's why it's not what we were created to do. We were created for something more than ourselves. And people don't understand that. There's something deeper than us. Passing on your lineage and passing on your name to somebody else matters. It's very important. The human population, depends on it. We really do. We're not meeting our birth replacement rate right now. Don't let anybody fool you that that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. Okay. We're outpaced. We're getting outpaced by everybody else. It's not good. Okay. Next graphic here from another good old feminist page about abortion. Breaking it down here, it says you don't have to love abortion. You can dislike it. Maybe it even makes you sad. The way you view it is up to you. If you don't like abortion, you can advocate for proper sex education, access to birth control, other things that have been shown to lower unplanned pregnancies, which a lot of us do already as it is. Sure. You don't have to like it, but what you can't do is disrespect somebody for having one. Okay, keep going. You can't take away that choice from women because you don't like it. All right, I'm gonna have to pause it right here. Okay, that's the whole thing. It's not about not liking or this and that. We're talking about a life. We're talking about a baby. It's not that I don't like that you want to kill a baby. It's that it's wrong to kill a baby. You literally can't. Murder is illegal. As far as I know, murder is illegal. And people are like, well, that's just your morality. No. It's in law. And we have law here in this country that you're not allowed to kill people.
And even with like taking legal sense out of it, morally killing someone is not like that. If we broke down those societal norms of saying like, I'm not going to kill you, that means you can't kill me. Well, I'm going to be able to kill this kid over here because it belongs to me. Well, then that's just normalizing violent behavior. It's normalizing killing your own. Like that is something that's so unnatural. And this argument right here that strong A woman is using, women is using, is that, again, pointing the finger at you are sexist. You want to take the choice away from women. That is their argument. If you said nope, don't care. For one, they also think that you can have abortions if you have a penis or something. I don't know what they think, but they think you can do whatever. It has nothing to do with the gender, has nothing to do with them being women, has nothing to do with their race, their religion, their creed, nothing. Don't kill kids. Don't kill a baby. It's not okay. You can't kill. You just can't.
It's pretty black and white. It's pretty black and white, honestly. If they're talking about your emotions are not somebody else's responsibility. No. None of this is my responsibility. That's your kid. You're gonna, you have choices to make here that don't involve killing it. Okay. We don't kill babies. It's very simple. It's a fact that is a baby growing inside of you. Someone else's bodily autonomy. Your bodily autonomy, yes, your body, but there is another unique human being with a unique set of DNA inside of you that is not your own.
Yeah.
It is not you.
And you imagine all the arguments though that they have. It's always, well, imagine the life the kid will have if they're brought into this cruel world. What, like, or what if their parents are poor?
That's the worst
or what
argument I've ever heard.
So let's just kill poor people because they can't have a good life. I grew up poor, and I'm glad I'm here. Like I wasn't, wishing someday somebody's gonna like throw me in a blender or cut me up and chop me up, and like, no, not at all. Because life is good. You can make something of yourself. You can enjoy your life. The fact that they make the argument that, hey, they're going to grow up to be poor, they're not going to have a good life. Well, I think that's wrong. I think it's evil.
Let's kill the little black kid because he's going to grow up poor.
Most definitely. That's what I want to see more.
Poor people in America are doing better than poor people in 90% of the world. Are doing better than a lot of people in most of the world. They don't even understand it. Our poor people in America do pretty freaking well. We do real well compared to many other groups here. And here's another thing I saw today. This is from someone I know who is a mother, okay, that has 2 children, actually. Unfortunately, there's no father in the picture. Very sad. Decisions have been made. Raising a child's the same. Some people can't handle them. Now we have a mother who kills a baby or let the baby go to the system. It's not right towards a baby at all. So there's a potential that the mother might be a bad mom, or something terrible might really happen to the child. But let's just bypass all that and just kill the baby so there's no chance of it ever succeeding or failing or anything. Let's just take that out of the picture and just kill it. And poor baby. Just, that's how it goes through. The logic here is so flawed. It's so terrible and sad. And it's the one thing is, how can mothers advocate for this? You have 2 human beings that you had inside of you. You felt them kick. You felt their heartbeat. You felt every movement. You have that attachment to them. You know what that is. And you're going to go ahead and say, yeah, well, some people shouldn't be mothers, and then we could better kill the baby. That's terrible. That's horrible. Well, foster care is horrible. Foster care might be bad, but that's still a live kid that has a chance to make something.
Why is the solution to foster care is terrible? Just kill the kid. Why don't we fix foster care? Foster care is so garbage right now. There's so many abusers in the system. There's so much wrong with foster care, but the solution is not to kill your child. That is always the argument, is like, well, what if this? So it's easier to just kill the kid. No, not at all. It is terrible. And like this comment right here, I mean, look, all the stats right here, and let's just take this face value and say it's correct. 80% of Planned Parenthood 60 efficient abortion mills are located in inner city areas with a black population above 50%. I mean, myself, I'm from Detroit, quite a lot around where, and it's funny because it'll be Planned Parenthood or whatever health center that's an abortion place, with a liquor store, and then a car dealership right next to it. It's always, all of those. And they're always in black neighborhoods. You don't see them in the hills and in the nice areas where they have $1 million houses. You're not going to see in a Planned Parenthood, where they have their Starbucks and their Whole Foods.
And destroy an eagle's egg and you'll be in prison for life. Yeah, you will go to jail if you mess with an eagle's egg. You will be charged with a double homicide if you kill a pregnant woman while driving drunk.
How many vegans you think are pro-abortion, but they won't eat a chicken egg? It's kind of funny.
A lot, actually, a lot. There's another thing here. You got to ask people. You got to stop and ask people if they believe that human life is invaluable. And that's the biggest question for me for some people, because I've given people the situation, about the situation between if your dog or a person was drowning in the water, your dog and a person is drowning, and you can only save one, who are you going to save? The answer should be the person. That's if you believe that human life.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you ever have a dog?
And a lot of people won't say that. And that's where I think where we're so failing as a society is that we've lost humanity. We've genuinely lost our humanity. We've dehumanized people, from the mask mandates to the vaccines to all of that, to for decades now not recognizing babies as being babies inside of people, unborn babies being a baby, and just advocating for killing them. And it's just one of the saddest things I've seen. And if we continue on this trend, we're going to be in a place of hurt. It's the biggest stain on our society right now. I absolutely believe it wholeheartedly, and I will stand behind that. But that's the biggest thing we have right now in society is this. For people that can't, for those that can't defend themselves, those are the people that we have to stick up for. We're called to, and doing the absolute opposite for right now. Okay, this is the last one I've got here before we go on here. And someone tweeted that treatment for an ectopic pregnancy is abortion. Treatment for a septic uterus is abortion. Treatment for a miscarriage that your body releases is abortion. If you can't get those abortions, you die. It's not an abortion when you have a miscarriage. It's not an abortion. You have a miscarriage, the baby comes out stillborn or dead or whatever. It's horrible. And these other things that happen, those aren't abortion procedures. People believe these lies and push this nonsense, and people actually genuinely believe it. These are not abortions. These are horrible, horrific incidents and abnormalities that happen in the midst of childbirth. They don't happen all the time, but sometimes they happen, and it's very horrific and tragic. And these people deserve our love and sympathy and our support. But it's not an abortion. We need to stop pushing it like such just to prove a political point. One that is incredibly incorrect, by the way, because that's just absolutely not true. And let me see if I can zoom in here one more time so we can get the words here. So it says, imagine having one of these things happen to you when you're trying to get pregnant, and then you have to book a flight to another state, take time off from work, get a hotel room, and get this life-saving health care. It's not health care. That's false. Okay. Killing a baby is not health care. In fact, it kills a baby. It's death care. Okay. It's not, there's no care involved in it. It's killing a baby. Potentially alone without your partner, they'll typically be there for support. Ectopic pregnancy, miscarriage are traumatic enough. Those are traumatic experiences, but they're not abortions. And that's the one thing people say. Those are not abortions. And why are we pushing them that they are? That's very just medically incorrect. It's very
again, it's the women versus baby. That's the argument. When no one who is pro-life is saying, yeah, no, if it's like the mom's life or the baby's life, let's like kill the baby or let's kill the mom. Like, no, it's very hard decision, and it's really based on what the doctor and the family have decided. Now, myself, if I had to give up my life for my kid, I'd do it. Not everyone would be able to do that, and not always is that the case medically. Sometimes the doctor's like, okay, well, the kid's gonna have a 10% chance to live, you'll have a 95 chance to live, and then they take the chance, and it doesn't work out. I'm just saying, like, they want it to be a woman versus baby argument because then they're saying that you're putting women under a clump of cells. It's
one or the other, when doctors in reality try to save both. Every single time they work to save both mother and child. They do this all the time. People, they always act like it's one or the other. It's never one or the other. They always bring up rape and incest. It's a straw man argument because they don't care about rape and incest.
It's such a low number as well.
It's less than 1%, folks. It's less than it's less than 0.02%. It's 0.01, like 86%. Okay, are due to rape, incest, those are abnormalities. 99% of abortions are due to convenience. Okay, or because people just aren't up for the challenge, don't feel like they want to do it.
I'm pretty sure the majority of people who have abortions already have kids. I'm pretty sure the majority of people who have abortions have children already. I believe so. Don't quote me on that. But I mean, it really does go to show, though, that it is for convenience. Like, I've had too many kids. I don't want another one. I not going to be able to afford this one. Like, we have become so desensitized to killing a child that it's really insane. And I think it really starts, I mean, just about everything we talk about on this show, it starts in the home, starts with the family. People don't teach their children anymore about like values and ethics and saying like, hey, killing a kid, that's not cool. And now it's like, fine. And there are people who are marching and protesting over this, saying like it's the worst injustice of their entire life.
No idea. And in fact, with this going on right now, it's brought out the racists out the woodworks here. We have people literally having black male rape fantasies going on, literally saying, hey, I wonder how these people would feel like it if a black man just went and raped it. Why does it have to be that? Why do you have to draw that up? Why do these people fantasize about these horrible things?
She deleted her Twitter, by the way.
I mean, Yeah, wouldn't you? I'd probably delete more than just my Twitter at this point. But this is what these people genuinely think about us. This is what they think about our movement. It's what they think about people on our side. It's what they think about black men too. They proved that part there. It's what they
Yeah,
think
no,
about
they view black men as animalistic and just
subhuman.
less. Yeah, exactly. And then they view pro-lifers as racist, waspy elitists when that's not the case at all. There's pro-lifers of every color, creed, of every religion. It's not just all white people. It's not all just racist. It's not at all. It has nothing to do with race. It's about, and there's so many people in the black community that are for like ending Roe v. Wade, who are for, let me say, against abortion. There's so many. It's not, again, the black community is not a monolith. It's not everyone thinks the same and agrees on everything. There, of course, are going to be people that are on both sides. And the fact that she felt comfortable enough to tweet that out, that's ridiculous. Glad somebody took that screenshot, though. And then I don't know. I tried to Google who she was, and nothing came up, but I did see her Twitter was deleted. I'm assuming she's probably a journalist. If I had to,
I think her pronouns are was and were now.
Yeah, there you go. She's gone. It should be she gone.
She gone. She is not on the waves anymore. Done.
Yeah, she gone.
Yeah, this is where we're at, though, folks. If you didn't know, we're in a war. We're in a battle. We're in a battle, and currently what we're at right now with everything is that it's more imperative than now to speak up and stand up for what is right, to get engaged, stay involved, and know what's going on. Saying I don't know anymore isn't an excuse, folks. Okay? There's too much information out there. There's too many resources available for you to say I don't know or this, that. Don't take the lazy way out.
It's too easy to get the information as well.
It's way too easy.
Yeah, it really is. But the last thing I'll say on this topic, on the abortion topic, is that I'm curious to see what happens. I don't think this is going to change the leak. I don't think the leak is going to really change the Supreme Court's opinion. I'd like to see where the timeline's at, when this might come. And my guess is that we are going to have probably about 30 states where abortion is illegal. And we're going to have 20 that abortion is legal up until like birth. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's my guess. And we'll see what happens.
No, it's got to get to all 50. And that's the one thing about it. It's just I wish we could make the ruling now. Scientifically, it shows that it's a life and you can't kill people. It's illegal already in the country. Just ban it across the board. And it's what should be done. It's not something that should be left up to the states when it's involving somebody else.
I'm not saying that it should be. I don't think that it should be legal. I do think it should be left up to the states. Well, that's a good question, but
that's the whole thing. It's the states get to decide what a person is and isn't. It comes down to that, and then.
But also, I mean, I suppose you can make the argument that within the Constitution, it could be considered the federal government's position to protect the life. So, yeah, I suppose I would like to see the Supreme Court make a ruling on this, saying that an unborn child is a life and you cannot kill a life, and that's constitutionally their life is constitutionally protected. But we'll see what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think that this is as good as we're going to get. That's my guess. I don't think that it's ever going to come to abortion being illegal in the United States. And I don't want to sound like a pessimist or anything like that, but I just don't see it happening. There's too many people. Our culture has shifted too far to people being comfortable with abortion.
Way too comfortable. Yeah, it's the one thing is, are you willing to have people take a vote on your natural rights? And most people, especially if you're on the side of the movement, if you have natural rights, you know that those don't come from a vote. They don't come from the government. So the answer to that would be generally no. So that's why I derive a lot of where this is coming from for myself. Moving in now, this week earlier, Dave Chappelle was attacked at the Hollywood Bowl. A crazed lunatic ran across the stage and tried a weak football tackle on him. Then knocked Dave back a little bit, and then he fell. And then Dave's whole entourage and security went and chased the guy down. And then they proceeded to put a beating on him like none have seen before. They were actually pretty brutal photos with the guy going in the ambulance. But this is kind of crazy. This is kind of following the trend of Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. And and now it's kind of almost, some people might say it seems like an open season on comedians now, where people feel emboldened enough to where if a comedian says something that you don't like, you can go out there and just do whatever you want, and go ahead and do so. And it's kind of crazy to me. And the craziest part about this is that in Hollywood, the district attorney, LA County, will not be pressing felony charges against the person that attacked Dave. And Dave is livid. Dave is upset, as I would be. This is absolutely ludicrous for this to not be addressed and to not put this person behind bars. When is it okay to do?
Remember, Mom is a kayak denier, so please don't bring it up.
Like, when has it been okay to assault someone, have a deadly weapon on you, and not go to jail from felony charges?
Do the research.
I just wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. At this point, sorry to all of those in California, but can it fall into the ocean already? It is just. I know you're from there. Sorry, Christian, but tell your family, California, it's over.
Well, they're not leaving anytime soon. I've tried. They are not.
Man, you got to convince them to go to Florida. They've had a good run out there, but it's just. I don't know what it is. I mean, LA, especially LA and some of the bigger cities in California, it's just a cesspool. And this is blatant. Anywhere else in the country, you have a crime caught on camera. That, like, literally on camera, everyone's like the alleged attacker. It's not really alleged because you can see him, but whatever. The alleged attacker. And everyone knows it happened. Everyone knows it's a crime. And then the prosecutor's like, yeah, no, we're not going after him. It's all right. So that the fact is that this is all just trying to create a cultural shift, because he has an agenda. What is his name? Garcet? Is that his name?
So Eric Garcetti is the mayor of LA, but the person everybody's trying to recall right now is George Gascon. That's the person that everyone wants gone out of LA, and people on both sides of the aisle want this guy gone. It seems like a Soros plant that doesn't do anything for the purpose of creating turmoil and just chaos. And yeah, no, that's California won't be getting any better, folks. It's going to get a lot worse, and it's not going to get better. I don't know what to tell you.
Move. That's what I'll tell you. Move. Imagine if all of the right-leaning people out of California flooded into red states to ensure that they can remain red states, like Texas and Idaho and Arizona and places like that. Imagine. I mean, how many Republicans does California have? 9 million, 8 million, something like that. If they all left and just let California become a cesspool of degeneracy like it is, then we can really secure our victory elsewhere. I mean, of course, that's not going to happen because it's a lot of people to try and manage to move to different states. But there's going to be so many more people fleeing California because it is going to get worse. I don't see it getting any better. And no one wants to make it better. They make too much money having it be a terrible state.
No. Gavin Newsom had a recall election, and they couldn't get him out in that sense. Now he knows that they can't get him out. What do you think he's going to do to you, folks? Whatever he wants, he's going to impose his will and probably punish you for even attempting to recall. So, you know what's coming. And if you don't know, now you know. So
now you know.
It's coming. It's literally, it's terrible. It's one of the worst things I've seen. I go home for Christmas once a year, and after 2 days there, I am ready to leave because it is not Florida, and every state should be Florida. On the record, that statement is true and factual. Every state should be Florida. It's incredible.
Without all the bugs, I'll take it without the bugs.
It's tough with the humidity. That is the one part about Florida, right. But you gotta have it. It's all there. Oh, so. It's been good to get back, folks. A lot of stuff's been going on with us getting promoted, and we miss being on here, and we'll be on here a lot more. Hopefully the summertime, we'll have a lot more time to go off and get engaged in more things, and we'll be able to promote more and hopefully build a bigger audience so more people can tune in and enjoy this as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. But my final thoughts here is that because a baby is inconvenient to you doesn't give you a right to kill it. You can try to make any justification that you want, but if it is a life and it's not yours, you can't take it. It doesn't belong to you, it's its own. And as when you made that decision in bed, because that was your choice, that's your pro choice right there. Your choice was made in bed. You know what the consequence of that was and what could happen if that happened. Now you got to rise up. There's adoption. You can place a baby for adoption. There's prenatal care. There's so many organizations that are willing to help you through the whole process. There's foster care systems. There's so many things that don't involve killing that baby. Genuinely, I'm very blessed and very lucky that my grandmother, who was a single mother at the time, had my mom and didn't even consider it, because who knows what would happen, if that was even the case. I'm glad that she was raised in the church, and glad that I was too, in the way that it shaped my views, as well as being able to be open and seeing the science of it all now. Folks, it's worth looking into, and it's worth fighting for. Some people say, well, this isn't the hill to die on. If this isn't the hill to die on, then there aren't any worth dying on. This is it. If you can't stand for life, then time to get out the way. Those are my final thoughts today.
I think those are some powerful final thoughts. I think that my thought on abortion, and it's changed in the few weeks. I mean, I was never really pro-choice. Not in the last 5, 6, 7 years. I have not been pro-choice. I've always been pro-life, but I've never. Just after seeing like the passion from so many people and seeing how much people care about it, and it kind of reminded me that this really is an issue that needs to be discussed and needs to be taken into account, and just take this on one by one, have those discussions. And that's something that I think I realized after having discussions with multiple people I know personally. And it's not a debate. We're not screaming at each other in front of a Capitol somewhere. No, we're just having a discussion. And once you have that discussion, there's no logical argument to say like, yeah, no, I'm for killing babies. Once you just boil down the argument and you get to the nitty gritty of it, people are going to be like, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. So I'm arguing to kill a kid. That doesn't sound right. I'm not for that. Wait. And then they're going to be like, well, no, I don't want women to have their bodies be controlled and things like that. And no pro-life. Well, I'm sure there's some people on the pro-life side that might be for that, but no, not the vast majority of people who are pro-life are not pro-life because they want to control women's bodies. They want to stop killing children. So my final thought, my point being, have conversations, just talk to people.
Agreed.
It does not have to be a debate all the time. Just have a conversation. Even if they disagree with you, just have that conversation. Listen more. We all need to listen more. We don't need to talk as much. We just need to listen more. Listen to people who disagree with you, and then have that conversation. That's my final thoughts. Like Christian said, we're hoping to be back more, doing this more often. We appreciate those that tune in and listen, and those who comment, and looking forward to doing this more over the next few months.
Well, definitely. Again, folks, have those hard conversations with those people that you care about and people around you. You never know what might happen. It's worth having that conversation. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Black Friday. We'll catch you later.